Welcome back to the Curt Mallory Weekly Press Conference as Indiana State prepares for Western Illinois. It is the regular season finale for the Sycamores in Western Illinois Leathernecks. Indiana State coming off a win against Illinois State. Western Illinois coming off a loss a week ago to South Dakota on the road. Coach, we'll open up to you. Just an opening statement on the big rivalry win against Illinois State and a quick look ahead to the Leathernecks and the challenge you'll see Saturday in Macomb.
Well, absolutely. It was a great win to beat a great opponent like Illinois State, which is a big rivalry, to put us at 6-4, giving us a winning record for the season, and most importantly, put these young men, these 12 seniors, give them a win in Memorial Stadium, and that's huge. These young men have put an awful lot into this program, and it's just great to see them win in their last chance at Memorial Stadium.
You mentioned the last chance at Memorial Stadium, but not their last chance to try to make this for their last game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is the first time in a while, and actually the first time for this senior class that they're playing for something in November and a chance to extend the season. How has this group each and every week, in your eyes, been able to accept your challenge and, most importantly, not get too caught ahead and get caught up in maybe all the noise that has started to build in recent weeks?
They've had a great approach. It's been 1 week at a time, one game at a time, getting better from week 2 to week 3 and so on. That's been the approach. They've gained confidence throughout the year, which shows in their eyes when you look at them on the sidelines. We're down 10-0. There was never any panic. They get to the sidelines. We got great coaches. They make adjustments. The kids respond. They're playing their tails off. It's been a great group to coach.
It may be a moot point or really not worthy of asking a question about, but how did you feel your team handled the cold environment? For really, I mean, South Dakota was cold when you went up and played up in Brookings, but that was probably the first non-great weather day you've had since Louisville in terms of just the temperature.
Oh, I don't think it was an issue. I probably made it more of an issue than it was. They get going. Wasn't a big issue. We had heaters, we had coats, we had all that stuff. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure if it was even needed. I probably needed it more than they did.
Joking with Cottrell after the game, I told him, I said, the reason you have over 300 tackles is because you're so old. But that's false. Besides, though, he has been around for a while. An accomplishment like that for Cottrell, but what he brings to this team and why he's such an important piece.
He's a true warrior. Loves this program, loves this university. He's put in an awful lot, like all these seniors have. He's brought tremendous leadership to our program. He's got a great workman attitude. Comes to work every day. He's given everything into it, as all these seniors have. But certainly great to see Cottrell get to that 300 tackle mark and to be voted, Defensive Conference Player of the Week 2 weeks in a row.
I know before the season they called themselves the Jack Boys in the secondary, specifically the safeties, and Jamal Jones and Denzel Bonner, both with 2 critical interceptions at key points in the game. It's kind of been a talking point you and I have had from time to time. I've asked you, hey, is there anything you think why the interceptions just necessarily haven't been coming in a large bulk for your team? And you said, we're not doing anything differently. We're doing the same drills. We're just practicing. Sooner or later, those opportunities are going to come. Why do you feel that way, and why is this team knowing that despite the numbers being towards the bottom of the league in terms of producing turnovers, those opportunities are eventually going to present itself?
They believe in their identity, who they are. They're a swarming defense. Great things happen when you get around the football. Jamal Jones at one time was leading the country, maybe still is, fumble recoveries. That doesn't just happen. These guys are always around the ball. They're flying around. They're playing hard. And it shows. And it showed on Saturday. They just kept getting close to the ball, and next thing you know, the ball's being thrown to them.
It's a question I've had to ask you in probably multiple different ways, but to ask it to you one more time, you were without Dante Hendricks in the second half, which then you were without Michael Thomas, Dante Hendricks, Rontrez Morgan, your top 4 wideout options. You look at losing Tyrion Hambright, Dwayne Thompson, 2 guys who have had key contributions on the defensive side, without Anoka Wallace, Stephon Mays on that defensive line. You've been without so many key pieces. I know I'm forgetting even some names there off the top of my head. Why does it? It seems like week after week, no matter who goes down, your team's able to adopt that next man up philosophy and not really make any excuses.
You know, you mentioned a lot of them. Obviously, not having our two running backs as well. But you know what? That's college football. And but this team has bought in since day one. You know, we've said it since day one. We need everybody, and they've bought into that. And everybody's got a valued role on this football team. And that's been the approach. And that's the approach been taken. That's the belief. This team believes in that. And when their number's called, they're up. And we always talk about the expectation is at the position, no matter who it is. If it's the running back position, that expectation is you're going to rush for over 100 yards. And it doesn't matter if it's Cove, it doesn't matter if it's Keys, doesn't matter if it's Titus. That's the expectation. And so they believe in that, and that's certainly held true this year.
Defensively, in terms of grading what your team was able to do against Illinois State, how did you feel that defensive performance ranked in comparison to what you've seen from your group throughout the year, knowing the opponent you were going up against that had two really good tailbacks in Smith and James Robinson, and of course a quarterback you respect the heck out of, Brady Davis, and Spencer Schnell, who I know you had connections with too.
You know, this is not a good offense, a great offense. And it starts up front. They got great running backs, quarterbacks. They got two of them. I think most teams in FCS would love to have their backup, let alone their starter. They're awfully good offensive team, and give them credit. They've been good all year, but awfully proud of the way our defense came up. Had some key stops at some critical times, and that was huge. That was huge throughout the game, and they just kept playing hard. I've been awfully proud of the way our defense plays. We've been able to get them off the field on some key stops, getting some key turnovers, and it's because they have a belief to swarm to the football.
You mentioned belief. I think that's one thing Western Illinois has in their new head coach, and Jared Elliott, who took over for Charlie Fisher, who did a really good job there in Macomb. When you've seen Western this year and you've seen what they've done in terms of their results, it seems like Jared Elliott has really been able to pick up where Charlie Fisher left off when he went to go to be on Herm Edwards' staff at Arizona State. Coach Elliott has done a great job, it seems like, in Macomb.
And Coach Elliott does a great job. He's a class act. I've gotten to know Jared here in the last year and a half. Very impressive when you meet him. He's doing a remarkable job. And obviously the football team is playing very, very well.
Sean McGuire's back. He gets a lot of attention due to being at the quarterback spot. They bring back their tailback as well, Steve McShane, two guys that are seniors that have had decorated careers on that side of the football. What is it that they bring to the table, which is why this year they've basically been in every game, just like it seems like every team in this league is competitive in every game?
Well, they're well balanced. Obviously got a big time running back, can make you miss, take it the distance. We've seen it on film all year. We've had a lot of crossover games. McShane is a tremendous talent from Freeport, Illinois. I'm familiar with him and his brother. Watching them come through the ranks and recruiting both of them. Quarterback, is a remarkable quarterback. Throws the ball. He's got a big time arm. Played a lot of football for him. It seems like he's been there forever. But he's a tremendous talent. But they do a great job offensively and can score at any time.
And defensively, too, I think that's always kind of been a staple in recent years that Western's been able to have some strong defensive guys. I know last year they shut us out in Terre Haute. Well, they got weapons that come back from that defense a year ago, and this year, what's stood out about Western's defense and you guys as a staff, and why you're talking about some key guys this week because of the weapons they have?
Well, I think anytime you look at a good defense, you're going to look right down the middle of it. And that's where it starts with them as well. Quentin Moon is a tremendous inside linebacker from the Indianapolis area, from Pike High School. Kalen Saunders causes havoc in the middle and does a tremendous job. And Pete Swenson, their defensive end. And so anytime you look at a great defense, you're going to look right down the middle. And that's where it starts. And they got great players right in the middle of their defense.
As you get ready to head to Macomb this weekend, Coach, the biggest thing you'll be preaching to your guys all week in preparation for the game?
Well, get better from week 10 to week 11. That hasn't going to change. The message hasn't changed. The approach doesn't change. We just got to worry about ourselves, and that's been the approach. We'll have a great week of practice. We'll get ready to play and hope for the best.
Coach, appreciate the time. We'll catch up with you next week.
Okay, thank you.